recently read that 40% of moms are serving as the sole or primary source of income in their families. And can you tell us some simple ways we can balance work and family obligations?
Right. I think the breadwinner moms and all parents are kind of juggling a million priorities now. And my secret is Office 365 Home Premium. I use that as my way to do it all. And I actually have 5 tips that can help parents juggle. And the first tip is basically create a plan. My book called My Parent Plan is about taking a step back at the time where it's not busy and looking at your weekly, your seasonal, your yearly, maybe even 5 years out. What does your family need? What does their schedule look like? And putting a plan together. And it's amazing when you actually do that, and you can actually save so much time and make sure you get all the things done that you need to do. The second tip is basically the cloud. The cloud is like magic, and I use SkyDrive and Office web apps to make sure that even if I'm at work and my kids are at home, I can collaborate and do homework together and share documents. So I suggest using the cloud because no matter where you are, you can access your documents. And the third tip is digital notes. I use the Microsoft app called OneNote, and that's like my second brain. And I store things like my recipes and carpool schedule and even the shopping list, so my husband can stop by the store and pick up some things and pull up OneNote on his phone, and that saves us a lot of time. And another tip is basically small changes can save a lot of time. For example, with Microsoft Word, I can actually, I use that to write my book, and my editor made comments. And instead of having to email with Word, I could just reply to the comments in Word, and it saved me so much time. It makes my life easier. And the next tip is the good old family calendar. If you can tame your calendar, you can tame the chaos in your life. And I use Outlook to manage my family calendar, and I have different colors for different people. And my other tip is make sure that especially moms put in their personal time. If you need some time to yourself, if you have a special exercise class, or if you want to have just time to socialize, make sure you put that in your calendar. So those are some of my top tips.
Okay. Well, can you explain a little more about the family calendar and how you clear chaos with this? Like, I know you put in your different times for you, but what other steps do you do?
Well, and this kind of ties to the planning process. So I step back with my family at different times during the year, and we put down all the things we need to do. And I look ahead to see, summer, what camps they need to sign up for, and what family vacations. And the reason this is a big deal is because if you plan, for example, for summer vacation and you could book early, you can save a lot of money. For example, ski lift tickets, if you buy them in May, they're much cheaper than buying them during the ski season. And the same goes for signing up for summer camp. Signing up for summer camp, you need to do it in January. So that by looking at the plan and what the family's doing and then entering that into Outlook, I even make a note for myself in January, sign up for summer camp. So make sure everything that you need to do is in the Outlook calendar. For me, that's what I do, and that makes sure that I get everything done.
That's good advice. Your book, My Parenting Plan, it provides parents with advice on how to apply business principles to parenting. And what would you think your number one business tip would be for parenting?
Oh, that's a really good question. The number one business tip is the concept of two things: is sitting down and having communication plan. I did this a lot in business, and I realized, I wasn't even doing it in my own home. Is sitting with my family, actually talking to them, finding out what their requirements are, and then putting that as part of your plan. And it's amazing when you communicate with your family, things will come out that you never knew you needed to plan for, and it really helps a lot. And the second is resource and delegation. As a manager, when you delegate, well, you can do that at home too. For example, how about chores? I make sure that the whole family participates in the household chores, and I put our chore list on Excel, and the kids check it off when they're done.
That's good. I need to do that with my chores. And what are your biggest shortcuts to save you time?
Yeah, that's another good question because you just, don't have a lot of time. So my biggest shortcut is really the family calendar and having things in the cloud. Because if I make sure that everything is on the calendar, then I am planning ahead for things like shopping and menus. And if it's in the cloud, then other people in my family can share and access that information. So there's not, going back to the refrigerator to find a piece of paper. It's all in the cloud, and I have it across all of my devices.
And you have a successful blog also. What advice do you have for new bloggers?
Well, that's a great question too. And my advice for new bloggers is it's important to find out what you're passionate about, because blogging is all about sharing your voice. And I think you have a greater voice and it's more interesting to your audience is when you're passionate about something. So I can't wait to check out your website too.
Well, thank you. I hope you enjoy it. And what are some tips you use to create a successful blog?
I think the tips, and that's another good question, is first to figure out your voice, and then figure out what your brand is. Are you covering crafts? Are you covering technology? And make sure that brand is across all the social network platforms that are out there, not just your blog, because using other social network platforms is a way to elevate that voice. And then making sure that that's something that you participate in a community, because blogging is all about community. So it's a good idea to reach out to other people that also have similar voices and share their posts too, because you can benefit so much by that.
That's true. Blogging is very much about a community. And when I'm a mom that's trying to juggle everything, work and home life, I forget things often. Can you tell me how you use some of your digital notes to help balance your life?
That's a good question because, as you just said, we're always juggling a million things at one time. So I basically use OneNote. I have it on my phone. I have it on my PC. And so when I have projects going on, I actually create a notebook on OneNote, and it includes the research. All the information's right there in my notebook. And so I don't have to go back and figure out where things are, images, anything I need. And that really helps me a lot, because in the moment you might think of something, but if you don't jot that down, I think it's lost. So that saves me a lot of time.
Yes, it would. Well, I believe that's all the questions I have for you today, and I certainly appreciate your time.
It was so great to meet you.
It's good to meet you, too. And thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.